What is up, people? Welcome to another Geek Alley Gaming. And if you followed my channel in the past, I had a little series called An Evening With. Anytime like a new system came out, I had a couple people on so we could talk about it. Well, tonight I have with me Shadow Fox.
What's going on?
All right, now basically we're a month in on the Nintendo Switch. So what we wanted to do is just give you our takes on it. What we like about it, what we miss, the things that we think they could, you know, use to I don't know, not better the system, but things that we missed that they had on the Wii U. Because despite what people want to believe, the Wii U was not a bad system.
Not at all.
It wasn't, and a lot of people know that. They just lied to themselves. That being said, um, that's all we're gonna do tonight. Just talk a little bit about it and give our thoughts a month into the system. So, first things first, it's portable. It's quick. It's a quick and easy setup. I think that's the quickest I've ever had a setup for a console.
That is I hate to say it, but it's almost like the Apple gimmick. It just works. That gimmick is the system. That is like the biggest selling point. And when you think of, oh well, I don't really go outside that much, and I could play Wii U in the bed or whatever. Like it's different. And the reason why I say that is at any point in time, it's not just the fact that you could play it away from the screen, because like I just mentioned, the Wii U can do that, but you can also suspend current gen hardware similar to the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. So on the Wii U, you can only suspend something to go into another application like Miiverse or whatever, something like that, and you can come right back to the game and play. You couldn't turn the console off and then and suspend your gameplay and then return back. Well, Nintendo not only did what the competitors did, they took it to the next level and made you're to the point where you can do a system resume whether you're on the TV or away or not even in the building. So that's a whole nother level. This is literally, quote unquote, the perfect version of transferring that Konami wanted to coin back in the day with Metal Gear and the Vita. So it's what I think it's what Sony was trying to get to those years ago with the Vita and the PlayStation 3 at the time. And this is the perfect realization of that. Nintendo just said, what if we put the Wii U in the screen? And that's essentially it's amazing. It's amazing.
I completely agree, because I found it funny that a lot of people were like praising this for the same reasons we like the Wii U, but that's just hilarious to me. But
yeah.
That being said, one of the things that I do enjoy, like, is the seamlessness of it, because I had the Vita and the PS3. I tried to do that. It would take forever for those games to like load to the Vita. I mean, in some cases, it would take a game like upwards of 45 minutes to an hour in some cases.
And that's if you had a good network connection.
Yeah, and that's me with Quantum, not with Quantum, but with files before they had Quantum. That was me with that, and it was always something like that. So for me to be able to just like pick this up out of the dock and play, put it in the dock, and it's back on my TV screen, and I can just pick up my Pro Controller and start back playing. It's heaven for me personally, because you literally can pick it up, walk around all around the house if you want to, walk outside with it if you want to, and bam, you're still in your game. You come back, you set it down in the dock, boom, you're still in your game. Now, me personally, I haven't had any scratching issues because I'm not jamming it in the dock. I'm actually placing it in the dock. I know that sounds incredible.
That sounds crazy. I put it in there at an angle, kind of. So I face the screen. So my dock is sideways in my entertainment center, so I can kind of, it's in at the top of my entertainment center, and it's turned sideways instead of facing front, so I can see the power LED or whatever. and the USB ports facing front as well. So I take the console and I slide it down, but if I turn the console to the right so you can see the USB ports, I would turn the Switch console I would tilt it to the right just slightly. So the top end is pointing towards the right, and then I slide it in just a little bit and then just let it go the rest of the way. And I have no problems. That takes like an extra half a second and no scratching.
Yeah. So I don't understand where the scratching thing was coming from, but I don't have any scratches. I guess because I actually take care of my equipment.
Yeah, and I didn't get them. I didn't get them before I started doing that. I just once people started complaining about that, I looked at it. I was like, well, it's possible that it could bend a little bit. So let me make sure that I'm touching the pads when I put it in there. So.
Yeah. And I have yet to have an issue like that.
Yeah.
The other thing that I found in portable mode, like taking it out in portable mode, I found it very seamless and easy to like use, go from portable to tabletop to, queuing up a game multiplayer, because I do have fast remix. And I took it to work with me just to show it to some of my coworkers, and we actually got a game in of fast, and dude, it was seamless. It was still fast. It worked like a charm. The Joy-Cons, while I do have slightly big hands, they don't feel small.
Yeah, because when you turn it sideways, it's a bit wider than you think it is.
Yeah.
And if you put the little connector thing on there, that helps a little bit too. So
yeah. Like the connector piece, I'm glad they put that in there, because it would be a pain if you had to like
reach in there to touch the buttons
in there every time. So they thought of everything for that, and I'm actually kind of glad they did that, because like I said, I do have big hands, so me trying to get inside the thing, it would have been a pain in the ass. So I do like that. I like the fact that they actually put a grip in there, just in case you didn't get a Pro controller or something like that, so you do have something. Personally, I think they did a fantastic job with the overall design and setup, because it doesn't take up that much space. I get pretty decent battery life out of the system itself, because I did the whole battery test thing. I was playing Zelda, and I got a good 5 hours before the battery started getting low.
Yeah, the only time where I had battery hour, where my battery time was lower than 3 hours, was when I was in Korok Forest. And obviously because that's one of the most demanding parts of the game. If you're in an area where it rains a lot, or
lightning storm,
or there's just a lot of polygonal and lighting work going on, then that's going to kill your battery at that point, because it has to bring up the clock rate. Even at 720p, it's got to bring it up. So yeah.
So the battery life on it, to me, is fine, and plus you do have the options of getting mobile chargers. I do have a couple of them myself, because I have some for my tablets and things of that nature. So I do have a couple mobile chargers, and they work fine with it. But I think the battery thing it's fine. It's not that big of an issue to me anyway.
I think it trains you to think a little bit different too, because it's kind of like the old days of when you used to play Dreamcast, and if you wanted to, get certain child in Sonic Adventure or Sonic Adventure 2 or whatever, you wouldn't sit there and play that dumb mini game on the TV, wasting your time. You want to do action when you're on the TV. So when you're away, you have your little your VMU or whatever, and you're playing the game on that to raise them or whatever. So when you come back, they're already leveled up. And the same thing happened in Phantasy Star Online as well. You'll raise your mag the same way. So it kind of makes you think, like, obviously there's going to be a Pokemon for this and it's going to be a big hit. But even in a game like Zelda, there's a lot of menial tasks that you could do in there, like cooking, building up your meals and stuff like that, that you start to think, well, you know what? If I have a trip this afternoon, I'll do all that kind of stuff while I'm on the go, and then I'll save some battery life or whatever. And at the same point in time, you're busying yourself while you're either in a car ride or something like that, and you're not, rushing to Hyrule Tower to fight Ganon, and there's all these effects going on, and there's really good soundtrack or whatever. That kind of stuff will probably cut your battery life a little bit. So you start to think a little bit more around the lines of, what kind of things can I kind of get out of the way when I'm not in front of the TV?
Yeah, and I started thinking about that too, because like usually, like for instance, like when I'm at lunch at work, if I'm gonna play Zelda or something, that's usually what I do. I'm either cooking or going to sell some stuff or trying to get some money. I'm not doing like main questing stuff because I don't know where I'm wound up. And let's just be honest, lightning storms come out of nowhere in that damn game.
Yep.
So I usually just try to do like the little stuff like that, like the prep work before I go do something crazy.
That in real life, like you're holding a portable. Somebody, they're gonna think, hey, they could just talk to you at any point in time. They're just, hey, could you do blah 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 blah? And you're like, okay, I'm in the middle of this, but all right.
And plus I'm on lunch, so leave me alone.
There you go. Just one of those things. So or the missus or whatever. Hey, did you see this? Blah 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 blah. And you're in the middle of like, okay, let me put this down real quick. You can either pause or hit the home button or whatever, or suspend it if you need to, and you can adjust whatever instead of being in the middle of a fight, which would probably be a bad idea. So
yeah, love those Stone Talus fights. But yeah, and if you're playing like an indie game, like something like Fast Remix or what's the other one I got? Like King of Fighters 98. I had to get that dude. Yeah, it's not gonna eat that battery up, and I'm surprised Fast doesn't.
It should, but then those games aren't that big either. Though.
Yeah, because I found out the game size of Fast is like what 900 megs.
Yeah,
something like that. It's not even that. Yeah, it's not that big.
They compress all their textures down, so everything's pretty small.
But if you look at it though, if you play it, you wouldn't think that.
Mm-hmm.
You would think it's like at least a 10 gig game, and it's not, because there's a lot of stuff happening, especially when you go to space, which I actually love that track. So
spoilers.
Oh yeah, that is right. My bad. Spoiler alert. But
well, you're talking about people that I never completed all the cups in the original Fast, so but it's okay. It's not a big deal. No, it's okay.
Yeah, it's just one of those things because like some of those tracks, a lot of stuff do happen on it, and like because I know you finished the in Fast Racing Neo, you did finish the first 2 cups, right?
Yes, I finished the first 2. Mm-hmm.
So
and then it started getting stupid.
Have like the big like freaking it's one track on there where the big freaking I don't know what that automated Skynet robot is.
Yeah, you're on it for some. Yeah.
You have something. You have that track is back in there, and like it's still doing stuff. And on top of that, this time it actually has a thunderstorm going through it on like the second lap.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but like I said, it looks beautiful, but it didn't kill my battery, which I thought it was going to do.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it. I guess it, in a way, when you're talking about essentially Wii U games at this point. Mm-hmm. And since I guess the technology is a little bit more modern and the resolution isn't as high, it's not as demanding. So like these parts were meant to go inside of a phone with anywhere between a 1080p to a 4K display. So since it doesn't have to drive as many pixels, I'm guessing a lot of process cycles are saved at that point. So
that does make sense.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why Nintendo went with what they went with, and because obviously, the first thing they'd be like, "Well, let's just make it a 1080p screen," and and when it goes on the dock, it could just be 4K. And, I think they thought about that kind of the use case stuff and just said, let's stress test this and see what it can do.
Yeah, because I'm glad they did what they did because, like, actually, it works better in my opinion the way they got it set.
And I'd say an unoptimized game like Breath of the Wild running on it that was obviously built from Wii U first, and they ported it in less than a year. It runs pretty well, and it runs even better now from the latest patch. So
yeah. Digital Foundry be damned.
No comment about them.
Yeah, no comment. Other than that, like I said, like the games that I've played, like, and I am happy that Neo Geo is putting stuff on there because like. Y'all know me. I'm a big fan of like Samurai Showdown, King of Fighters. Can we get a Fatal Fury, please? So
is that a pro or a con though? Because that means we have to talk about the elephant in the room.
The virtual console.
Yeah,
that ain't no con. That's a pro because number one, at least I know the virtual console gonna work. Two, I can be patient because if they dropping what I think they're gonna drop, which is that GameCube virtual console, which is one I actually want.
Yeah.
I can be patient.
I think I think none of that stuff is going to be announced until they start talking about how, when, and why the subscription service is going to be what it is.
And that's the other thing. I mean, like I have no problem waiting on that because one, to be honest, I'm a multi-console owner, so I understand that I had to be a little patient when they working stuff out. And if they need to work some stuff out because they want to drop what I wanted them to drop on the Wii U, which is the GameCube Virtual Console, then I can wait. It's not that serious.
Okay, so I know you tend to claim that at one point in time you claimed that you had a small channel and small followers or whatever, right? But I just want to make it clear that people understand what's going on with this whole online system or whatever, if they're in the dark or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll make the formal announcement. Nintendo has an online platform, Nintendo Network or whatever, which is going to be the evolution of Miiverse and Wii Connect 24 before it on Wii. And there were now, for the first time ever, Nintendo hardware is requiring a online subscription fee to access their content after, I guess, at some point in this fall. It'll be free now going into the fall, and then the subscription charge will kick in, and you get enhanced virtual console games when they decide to come with online or whatever. And obviously access to those online games for a certain period of time before you have to pay for them, and you get online multiplayer in select online Nintendo Switch games. So I think that's great because one of the things they kind of touched on in marketing this system multiple times since from October, December, January to now was things such as co-op versus other co-op multiplayer, which is something I think the last time that was done was Halo 3.
I want to say
local big team versus local big team, like that kind of stuff. A Splatoon 4-on-4, 4 on one console locally, 4 on another console locally is absolute mayhem because you're looking at either a 1080p screen cutting 4, or a very small Switch screen cutting 4, or 4 local Switch consoles versus 4 remote Switch consoles connecting together. So you're thinking about both crazy scenarios, or a combination of the two and two versus 2 and 2. So it could be crazy. You could literally have 8 Switch consoles compete against each other locally or whatever, or have any combination thereof, 6 versus 2 or whatever you want to do. So online systems could connect to each other for a local LAN and then go online at the same time versus other people. Imagine if there were implications. I don't know if Nintendo's talking to Activision about this, but imagine the Call of Duty title like that.
All I know is 8-player Smash is going to be off the chain.
There you go. There you go. Everybody has their own screen if you want, or they could all play on one screen together or a combination thereof. So, you go to somebody's house, everybody looking at a screen playing Smash, and they're playing online, they're playing locally, it's amazing. So
yeah, 8-player Smash is gonna just be amazing. Now, can I please get my Travis touchdown? That means
put them in the game.
Yeah. That's the thing, because I'm that's one of the things that I'm actually happy Nintendo went back and did. Like, they are committed to doing local co-op, and I don't understand why people prefer online co-op. Look, it is nobody's fault if you can't make friends.
They prefer it because the developers are pushing it, and the developers are pushing it because their game looks like crap if they add local multiplayer and cut the frame rate in half. Come on, man.
Yeah,
we got to talk about these PS4 and Xbox One only developers here.
But at the same time, all those same developers got Switches now. That's not an excuse anymore. That's not an excuse anymore. They all got Switches. Because you want to know why? I know some of them got Switches because I see them on Fast RMX.
but who's going to pay them to push their game? I guess that's the thing at this point, because now the publisher has to say, this thing y'all been avoiding all this time, why should we pay y'all to do it again? Because it seems like it takes a long time, and then the performance isn't there, and now we have to come up with excuses. So,
but in all honesty, though, I am glad that the local, because that's the thing. Like, I prefer I don't mind online. I don't play with randoms online, so I got to know you if I'm gonna play against you. I just don't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I prefer local just because it gives me that arcade feel. I am 36 years old. I played in arcades. I
Yeah,
love dropping down 10 quarters and going for how long I can go.
and you got to talk trash.
Yeah. I'd rather talk trash to the person right next to me because that way you can't go over the line.
Yes,
You might get your ass
and
for real.
and if you do go over the line, I mean, a couple of beers will solve that. Y'all just brawl and drink some beers and brawl again. And it's
but sometimes some people go a little bit too because some of these folks. Let's just be real. Some of these folks online, they brave.
Oh yeah, well, they taunt your mama and all the other kind of stuff. So yeah,
so that's why I'm like, I prefer to play with people that I either know online or I prefer to we be sitting in the house playing.
Gamers are large in effect.
Yeah. So basically, that's what I prefer. So I'm actually glad that a company's actually bringing that back, and people seem to be liking the idea.
Yeah,
from what I can gather.
I guess at this point, it's only limited with regards to third party developers. It's only limited with some of the shady parody business practices that Sony and Microsoft are going to do at this point, because we all know Nintendo cannot have a better version in any way, shape, or form. Like there's literally clauses for this on Xbox platforms versus Sony platforms. Like literally, if the version doesn't look good or something is different about it that sets it out against the Xbox version, that version will either be held back or not released at all. Like that's something that has been documented at this point.
Rayman.
So yeah, so you having a Nintendo Switch version of a game have all kind of different modes of multiplayer, stuff like that, and then they port it to the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One without all that. And if you wanted to play, say, Call of Duty local multiplayer, and it simply does not exist on those platforms, and you could do it on Switch and play online, like yeah, that's going to be a problem. I think if Microsoft holds and they're real stubborn about it, we can end up seeing dumb stuff like the Nintendo Switch version will have a wealth of local multiplayer modes, but only one online multiplayer mode, or it doesn't get the DLC the same day. That kind of dumb stuff will start happening because of they see this being a threat.
Well, as long as I get my amiibo,
I don't want to play another. I don't want to play another platform, and I hate to say that with my Wii U sitting right next to it, but dude, like, you give me the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild, and I'm not going to play it. I'm not. It's so easy to hit the home button and suspend the game, or hit the sleep button and just walk. Oh my god! Like it's well that and I don't use the Joy-Con grip really much anymore. Yeah. I literally played the way that I played Xenoblade Chronicles on the original Wii, like literally laying with my controller, my arm on one arm on one side with the left controller and one controller in the other hand, in my right hand, and my arms are completely apart. I don't have to sit forward and look like a mongoloid with a controller in my hand, so I can kind of lay naturally however I am, or sit naturally however I am, and kind of just relax. And now I don't have a cord in between me, so
yeah.
And that's one of those things. Nintendo kind of made fun. They did the whole GDC talk. I don't know if you watched that or not. And they were talking about Breath of the Wild and how it was so different. And this guy was sitting there with his arms folded, and he was literally playing the game with his arms folded because he had, one Joy-Con in each hand.
Yeah, I saw that because I follow Pamela Horton on Instagram, and she was playing laying down with Joy-Con each hand, with in portable mode, in tabletop mode, with the Switch on the floor, laying down, not even looking at the Joy-Cons, with the Joy-Cons behind the back holding it and playing like that. I'm like, dude, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, but you could be completely lazy. You could be you can have lumbar support. You can do, whatever. You don't have to worry about getting arthritis sitting over a keyboard or anything like that. Like it's there. And I to me personally, that's been one of the best places, the best ways to play. The only time where I force myself to stop holding the controller like that, whenever I was still playing in dock mode, is doing certain parts of Legend of Zelda's motion control with the getting the
shrines.
There was some shrines where you had to do motion control with balls, basically trying to get them to go from one side to another, and that was a pain. So a lot of that kind of stuff, you literally have to put the controls, slap them back onto the system, and play it in portable mode to get that right, because a lot of the motion is in I want to say almost all of the motion is in the right controller. So, and it doesn't know what axis you're on if it can't judge from where the system is.
So I take it you had to play that mini game, that mini golf shrine.
Yeah, the mini golf shrine wasn't as bad. The one of the first ones you run into where the ball drops down and you have to get it from one side of the maze to the other, and then at the end flip it up in the air so the ball clears the gap.
Yep.
To get over to the other side. Yeah, that one I had to undock and dock the controllers multiple times to get them to register and then play in handheld mode.
That one was just annoying.
Yeah, it was really annoying, but it's just one of those things where, and the way the game was probably originally designed was obviously for Wii U. So it's just one of those things where if we don't know how much time they had to do the some of the gyro programming for the Nintendo Switch version. So it just want to, and you go from having a gyro in the middle of a controller for the Wii U to only being on the right side for the Switch, and that's
kind of weird. But okay, it's kind of weird, but yeah, it works. Do you have a Pro controller?
No, I was trying to get one. And
I was able to get one. I will say this: the way they have the way you do your amiibo, I kind of prefer it how they do it with the Joy-Con, which is on the right stick. Yeah. Because on the Pro controller you have to put it like in the middle of the controller.
What in the world?
Sometimes it doesn't register. You have to like situate it a little bit. Other than that, that's my only real complaint about the Pro controller. The Pro controller is light. It's real comfortable actually. So I've been playing with that a lot.
My only complaint about that Pro controller is it's not a Wii U Pro controller, and it's not compatible with
my complaint about it is $70 goddamn.
Yeah, and it's half the battery life of the Wii U Pro controller.
Yeah, I'm like, can I take the Wii U Pro controller battery out and put it in that one?
And they're like, no, you can't. You can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, but all in all, I think it's a great system for what it is now. Of course, when you buy something at launch, and I've said this with PlayStation as well as Microsoft, when you buy something, you are basically a glorified beta tester.
Yep.
So that being said, the OS I think is fine for right now for what it is, but I know they're probably going to make some changes to it. I did hear a rumor that they will be adding themes this summer. One of the first themes I heard that the rumor is going to be a Splatoon theme, which is fine, but I'm more of a Legend of Zelda fan, so
where that Bayonetta theme at?
Yeah. Yeah, because we got to talk about that a little bit later. But I heard that was coming down the pipeline. So right now it's a very basic OS, but everything's easy to find. It's easy to get to. I don't think you would get confused about where stuff at because it's out in plain view. So that shouldn't be a problem.
Let's give it the IGN 10 rating for the same reason they gave the PS4 a 10 rating. The OS is very fast and snappy. This is obviously the fastest OS that Nintendo has had since GameCube.
Yeah, basically. I mean, because it's faster than GameCube. So yeah, I agree with that. The only other thing I will say there is no Miiverse yet. I'm hoping that Nintendo changes their mind and adds Switch to the Miiverse. Like they did with 3DS. One of the things that I actually liked about the Wii U was the actual Miiverse. I'm not the biggest fan of Facebook and putting everything on Facebook, but I understand why they did it. The Facebook and Twitter are the two big social media platforms. So I completely understand why from a business perspective. But what I don't understand is why they didn't add it to the Miiverse, because let's be honest, if you played it on the Wii U, that Miiverse does come in handy, especially when you get like lost in the game. People really do that function really does help out.
Yeah, and
I
people
don't know how
do
many
go on
times
there.
I got help, especially on like Wonderful 101 and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I just kind of, and it was easy because you could just submit a screenshot and say, what Whiskey Tango Foxtrot do I do here?
Yeah,
People
and
are like,
somebody would have an answer to you pretty quick.
yeah, yeah.
I never had to like wait days for an answer. I mean, that's on anything. Like people were like, "Oh, well, all you gotta do is go here, here, and here, and boom, you're good."
And you always know that you're talking to people that have the same game. So
Yeah.
you can, you don't have to worry about trolls and all the other kind of stuff. And if you do, you could clearly see they don't have the little checkbox next to their name, so they haven't played the game and you can ignore them. So that was one of the other things I kind of liked, was that it was really putting the onus on people to play the game. Ratings were tied to Miiverse. You rated games, or an activity on Miiverse would show in certain ratings of games on eShop. So yeah, it was critical to play a part of the community there, and I like posting pictures there and talk about games and stuff, and people give you yes or whatever whenever they like something that you posted. That kind of stuff. I like that kind of feedback, and I like reading people's profiles and seeing the type of games they like to play or whatever, and what systems they own. So I like that kind of stuff, and I think they should kind of bring that back. It'll be on the well, it's kind of on the Switch, kind of in a way already. So
Yeah, but it's not,
yeah, it's not as fleshed out.
yeah. So I'm hoping that Nintendo actually like says, you know what, let's just add it to the Miiverse, because let's be honest, the Miiverse ain't going nowhere no time soon.
Nah, it's staying for now.
Yeah, so if that's the case, can we just get it back? Because like I said, I miss it, and I would love to like upload some of my stuff to Miiverse, just to, because I like interacting with the group there. Other than that, I don't really have anything bad to say. Like I said, I'm not having any I've never had a desync issue. I didn't know where that was coming from. I do I feel for people who've had that issue, but I haven't had that issue.
Now, I've had disconnects. I haven't had like completely desyncs where I had to resync the controller, but I did have the both the left and right Joy-Con didn't register a couple of times in like the heat of the battle. Sometimes there were certain things I was doing, but playing the Nintendo Switch in my current setup right now, I'm sitting at my desk where I normally PC game, and I play the way that I told you. So I have the left Joy-Con in my left hand and the right Joy-Con in my right hand, and I kind of rest them on my lap a little bit below my desk. So it's going through both the metal keyboard rack that I have on here, the glass desk itself, the other metal side of the desk, the entertainment center that I have next to it, the Wii U system, and then finally the Switch. So there's a little bit of interference there, but as soon as I bring it up above the desk, the problem goes away. So I haven't tested the issue happening outside of that.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't had that problem. I did because I did that with what game did I do that? I want to say I did it with I Am Setsuna when I was doing my first little playthrough just to see how it would react to that, and I didn't have an issue when people were saying that. Some people were saying they were having a desync issue with the left one. I've never had that. So, but now usually what I do is I play on my Pro controller, or I play like with it connected to my to the tablet anyway. So I don't see myself like doing that often, unless I'm playing like a multiplayer game or something like that, and I had to give one of the Joy-Cons to somebody else. So I haven't had that problem. So mine's been working perfectly, and I'm actually grateful for that. But yeah, I after a month of playing it, I think it's a good investment, at least for me. At this point, it's been a great investment, and I've had a lot of fun with it. Your thoughts, Shadow?
I think one of the big comments that probably some people want to know about right now is, oh well, the graphics to power, is it going to be? This conversation is so irrelevant because people talked and dogged the Wii U about its power and relative comparisons to both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, and saying, well, there are big games out there that obviously the Wii U wouldn't be able to run. And most of those games were open world games. So these open world games wouldn't come to Nintendo platforms, and a lot of them because of developer history with Nintendo and them. So Nintendo solved the problem by creating the greatest open world game known to man right now. And that's a Wii U game that they ported to the Switch in less than a year, and it runs just fine. I think the hardware is okay at this point. I think a lot of people should apologize about the Wii U's hardware at this point. Because obviously there was some stuff these other developers, when they looked at a sheet of paper and what they thought they saw wasn't really what was there. So perhaps they should go back to the drawing board, and when Nintendo says we can actually achieve the specs a lot closer than some of the ballpark figures that you're used to on theoretical specs, they should kind of listen to what they say. Because I think if anybody is going to write to the metal, nobody does it better than Nintendo. And they clearly showed them, they basically showed GTA how to make a better GTA. They showed Assassin's Creed how to make a better Assassin's Creed.
I will say this. If you're one of those people who dog the Wii U for like off-screen play and being able to like not having to play on your TV and you praising the Switch, you just got trolled.
Oh yeah, because for all the reasons that you dog the Wii U are all the reasons that you should dog the Switch.
Yeah,
the Switch is literally just an extension of the Wii U.
Basically, I mean, I'm sitting up here looking. I'm like, yeah, they probably just trolled the gaming industry, and I'm thinking, it's
on purpose.
I think it's hilarious.
The only thing they did was during the reveal, they didn't show kids.
Yeah.
And they showed Skyrim and they showed NBA 2K. And magically now it's a completely different system. It's amazing to me.
Yeah. I still find it to be funny. But we shall see. Only time will tell, because we still got some more months left in the year. There's a lot more games to be played. So I'm actually looking forward to some of the games that's coming out this year, because from what I understand, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was confirmed for this year.
Yes, they're sticking on that. So that means two great action. Well, Zelda is an action game more than it is an RPG, even though they added more RPG elements. But then there's Xenoblade following that. And Skyrim apparently is going to be out this year too, maybe.
And Super Mario Odyssey. And Fire Emblem Warriors.
Splatoon, Mario Kart.
Mario Kart's the 28th of this month. So there is going to be a lot of games. I'm glad Kimishima is basically saying, like, you ain't got to worry about that. This is going to be something.
I think at E3, EA finally gives up the ghost and announces Madden for Switch.
Well, Peter Moore's left, so that shouldn't be a hindrance. So because I think what's winding up happening is, and let's be real, the gaming industry is about money. Some of these third parties did not make as much as they thought they were going to make, because the attach rates were not there for some of these other systems. So it's, if you want to make money, you got to put it on everything.
Yep.
And let's just be honest. No, you're not gonna make the money that Halo makes. No, you're not gonna make the money that Zelda makes. No, you're not gonna make the money that God of War or one of the actual exclusive, the true exclusives will make. But you can make it when they're not, out.
Yep.
So you have to put it. You have to give everybody a chance at it, and I think that's that's one of the main reasons. I don't think they're coming back just because they think this is a better system. I don't think that. I think they're coming back because we need to make money.
Yep. And it's a no-brainer. You can play it anywhere, which means that you can extend any game with DLC, and it's guaranteed to have a larger user base subscribe to that type of stuff, because you could take it anywhere, kind of like your phone.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, I carry mine to work with me every day.
There you go.
It's in my bag.
So if you're constantly playing games, like every waking moment or anytime you have some free time or whatever, now your mobile phone, like ever since this system came out, I don't play games on my iPhone anymore.
No reason to.
Like, it has completely replaced my iPhone.
I mean, because you're actually playing full on games. You're not playing like even though Candy Crush and Fruit Ninja are games, I'm not hating on them for what they are.
They aren't true games.
Yeah, they're not games. When I mean true games, they're not,
they're casual,
ground up games that you actually have to put like more thought into. I'll say that.
Well, let's put it this way. Let's just say a more. I won't even say complex because puzzle games can be really complex now. So I'll say a larger scope title. Let's put it that way. Okay. There's a larger scope of what you're doing in a game on these consoles and handhelds versus, say, a phone. Usually a phone game is very limited in scope, but it may be very deep with regards to gameplay and how you achieve that one thing that it focuses on. So there are many of those type things happening in, a console game or whatever. There might be, multiple different ideas that are worked on. Some may be perfect, some may not be, but there are a lot more of those than there would be in a downloadable mobile game. So that's probably the better way I can explain that comparison, because I don't want to call. There's a bunch of hardcore iPhone gamers out there or Android gamers. Oh yeah, they'll play a game. They'll play those phone games harder than we play any console game. So you can't really say they're not hardcore, because they are. They're just towards
a very. Wonder why their phone always dying.
That and they leave every app in the world open while they play it too. So
if you haven't guessed, I know some people like that. So
oh yeah.
Hey man, I was trying to give you a call, man. Where we at? Oh man, my phone died.
Your phone always died.
Oh man, I was getting it in on this game. The phone is you know what?
So it's you. You're the person that's always can't answer their phone. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's stuff like that. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Let me know in the comments. Do you have a Switch? Do you plan on getting one? Are you just waiting to see what E3 is going to have and what third party is going to jump on? If you have one, what are you looking forward to in the rest of the year? Because there are a nice slate of games slated for 2017. So let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. And Shadowfox, you got anything you want to pimp out?
One quick alibi. Create a 5 gigahertz only network in your home and watch how the Nintendo Switch radio magically works way better. Get rid of the clutter and you'll see the difference. Trust me.
There you go, peeps. And with that being, anything else?
No, that's it. That's all I got.
And with that being said, people, we are out. I hope you guys enjoy your evening. And I'm finna go back into Hyrule Castle and wonder how I'm gonna stay alive this time. See you.
Oh man.